Well, hello and welcome to it then. It is the Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with AK Bets. And it is the week of a major. And on the punter's bag, once again, is Steve Palmer. Steve, how are you, mate?
I'm all right. I mean, the drugs have settled down a little bit. Richard Ashcroft famously said the drugs don't work. I think he may be right, because last week was dire, but I've settled down a little bit now. I've got into the rhythm of these steroids. I feel a lot calmer. I'm hoping calmer Steve will be more profitable Steve.
This is what you live and breathe for, Steve, right? Majors week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought I was going to have a really successful June, and I'm still confident we can have a successful June. Last week I felt like the Lance Armstrong of the golf punting world, and it didn't go right. But honestly, this week there's a more measured approach, Dave. I'm feeling much more confident this week that the US Open is going to go our way. I love majors. Do you love majors?
Oh, yeah. Sunday night, settling down to watch the carnage unfold. I want a nice tight finish, and I'm trying to do a bit of research on the course and thinking that's what we might get as well.
I think you're going to get a fantastic tournament and lovely strong markets, and AK Bets has got the best prices on literally everyone, as per usual. So, we've got a nice strong market. We've got a fantastic golf course. We've got that major buzz about us this week.
Absolutely right. Do remember, of course, to like, comment and subscribe. You are on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Loads of content coming your way, including plenty of stuff on the Euros as well. Let us know who you're backing in the comments below if you're following Steve's tips. And what did you make of the carnage last week, which we will get onto. But before we do, reminder then of the Sweet Spot welcome offer being brought to you by our sponsor, AK Bets. If you open an account with AK Bets, place your first bet on the account with a golf winner market, and your player misses the cut, you'll receive up to 50% money back as a free bet. Terms and conditions apply there. And keep your eyes peeled on next week's show, because the man himself, AK Bets, will be coming on and introducing a new welcome offer as well. And as well as that, if you've already signed up to the Sweet Spot 50 code, you'll be entitled to a bonus as well. So all change on the AK Bets welcome offer. Stay tuned next week for more details on that. But I think you've got to take advantage of it this week, right, Steve?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we've got some exciting times ahead, haven't we? I mean, we'll get on to the watch-along on Sunday. We've got a US Open watch-along. The special guests list is getting out of hand. That's all I'm going to say. I've heard some incredible rumours in the last 5 minutes of who may be coming on the show on Sunday. So, keep your eyes peeled on Sunday. We could have some superstars joining us.
Wonderful segue into that, Steve, because that will be 7:30 on Sunday evening. You'll be able to join myself and Steve, an array of guests. Forget the football, which we will be touching on. You can keep an eye on the football, an eye on the golf, and we'll have some big guests, as Steve's already mentioned, and we'll be taking in the final round, all the drama. So that'll be from 7:30 live on the Racing Post YouTube channel. So do join us. AK will be making an appearance as well. Get your questions, comments in for Steve and AK. Right.
Yeah, don't forget the football, Dave. Don't forget the football. We can combine the whole package. We can't ask people to forget the football. They're not going to forget the football. But we're going to give you the complete package. We are the Linford Christie.
I'll reveal one of the special guests coming on is football betting guru Mark Langdon. So we're going to be in good company. Real good company. So hopefully England will do the business. Steve's picks on the golf will do the business. And we'll have a merry old Sunday night. Join us from 7:30. Right, Steve, 3 tournaments last week, and there is only one place to start because there was absolute carnage in the Scandinavian Mixed.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the upshot is Lynn Grant won her second Scandinavian Mixed. She's won 2 of the last 3, but that doesn't tell any of the story. That was a 28-1 winner. But Sebastian Soderberg was the big story. 8 shots clear going into the final round, 16-1 on, 11 shots clear of Lynn Grant going into the final round. And we don't like to throw the choker tag around willy-nilly on Sweet Spot. We're quite sensitive to that. But it was a spectacular choke from Sebastian Soderberg, I'm afraid to say. It was actually 1 under par through 3 holes of that final round, and then capitulated totally. Loads of missed tiddlers, carded a 77. And then on the final hole, from the middle of the fairway, he made a double bogey, missed a tiny putt, and finished second for the 3rd time this year. So Sebastian Soderberg needs to go and lie down in a dart room for as long as he needs. Maybe until Cranthur Thea. I think just lie down till Cranthur Thea. I feel so sorry for Sebastian Soderberg. It was heartbreaking. And Lynn Grant, poor old Lynn, didn't know whether to celebrate, did she, David? Did you watch the action?
I saw. Yeah, do you know what? I saw her. She was obviously on the range, and I saw her interview afterwards, and she was talking more about Sebastian Soderberg than she was herself. But to be fair, she set the course alight. What did she shoot? 65. Every time they cut to her, she was draining one in.
Well, she thought she had no chance of victory throughout the round, and then she holed a bunker shot on her last hole, and had even at that point she thought, oh, that was just a bit of fun. And Lynn Grant, I love Lynn Grant. I mean, I obviously wish the men weren't invited last week, Dave, because we were discussing who the best ladies were, and we had Lynn Grant and Johanna Gustafsson as our top two, and Johanna Gustafsson finished fourth outright at 350 to 1. I mean, if that was a ladies' event, it would have cleaned up, but as it was a mixed event, and I didn't clean up. Alexander Bjork dropped to 12th place, and I was as disappointed as Sebastian Soderberg on Sunday.
Well, going forward, that's obviously going to sting. That's going to be a sore one for Soderberg. When we see him in the mix, is he a player that, there's going to be mental scars there that maybe we should be looking to take on?
Yeah, because it's happened all year. He's had big chances in other events and blown it. It looked impossible to blow that one, particularly after the bright start. But you fear for Sebastian Soderberg going forward now. Yeah, you just won't be going anywhere near him, will you?
Right, let's move on then to Memorial. And the chef cooked up a treat for us, didn't he, here? By contrast, he was in command going into the final round, and his quote afterwards was, "I did enough to get it done."
It's what he does, isn't it? It's what he does. Yeah, I mean, this season has turned into something extremely special for Scheffler. Nobody since Tom Watson in 1980 has won 5 times on the PGA Tour prior to the US Open. So what Scheffler did on Sunday, not even Tiger Woods has done that. They're always comparing Scheffler and Tiger. It's a bit unfair, but in this regard, he's done something Tiger's never done. For 44 years, we haven't had someone win 5 times before the US Open. And if you throw in his near misses this season, Dave, I'd like to discuss his near misses because it's mind-boggling the number of victories that Scheffler could have. You remember the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, cancelled with a round to go due to bad weather. Scheffler was hunting the leaders, 4 shots behind, 6th in that, well in the hunt, could have won that. You remember the Phoenix Open, he was still enduring putting nightmares. Seems a long time ago that Scheffler was enduring putting nightmares. You remember the Phoenix Open, missed every putt he looked at, finished 3rd. And then Steven Jager beaten by a shot in the Houston Open. USPGA, we all know what happened there. Lots of off-course dramas. One bad round, he had massive excuses for that. So he might have won the USPGA, then he was 2nd in the Charles Schwab. So to cut a long story short, he's won 5 tournaments this season, but with a bit of luck here and there, he could have won 10. He could have won 10 of his last 11 tournaments, Dave. That is not overstating how consistently brilliant Scheffler has been, particularly from tee to green. The facts are he's won 6 of his last 14. He's won 5 of his last 8 tournaments, dominating the sport. And I'll give you an interesting stat, Dave, to highlight this dominance. The gap between Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy in total world ranking points, so the world number 1 and the world number 3, is the same as the gap between Rory McIlroy and the world number 613, Anthony Quayle. I mean, he's got a stranglehold on the top of the world rankings now. And I just thought his approach play was, again, like a real marker for this week. He gained 13 shots on approach at Memorial, topped the greens in regulation stats, classic Scheffler performance, 22nd of 52 in putting, putted okay, job done. And I think that was a significant victory for him after what's gone on. He drew a line under his brush with the law. It was his first win as a father. He must have enjoyed the scenes of baby Bennett coming onto the green. I think it was a significant victory on Sunday.
Okay, right. We'll come back to the chef because he's also our market leader for the US Open as well. Right. We'll touch on the Live Golf as well in Houston. Stephen, I got a quote from the winner there as well, Carlos Ortiz. "I know I'm one of the best players in the world right now." Do you agree with that?
No, that's a bold claim. You just want to Live Golf Houston. You're a little bit ebullient, but no, I think it's a bold claim. I mean, he might have had some backers last week because his lone PGA Tour victory was the Houston Open in 2020. His maiden Live Golf title came in Houston on Sunday. He lives in Texas. There were grounds for some interest, but no, he's not a player that's he's never impressed me greatly. No, I think that's a bold claim from Carlos Ortiz, but it's good to believe in yourself, and I don't mind that. But I think David Puig, as I like to pronounce him now, is a better player. David Puig was an 80 to 1 shot last week. He won his US Open qualifier last Monday, played great in Houston. I think he's going place. He's a 22-year-old Spaniard. I'd be more interested in following the progress of David Pooch playing this week in the US Open. He's worth considering at a big price this week. I think he's got a big future. And yeah, while one Spaniard's on the up, another Spaniard is waning, isn't he? John Rahm, yeah. We must discuss. Short price fab again. Last week he withdrew during round 2 with he's got a cut between his toes, Dave. I've had lots of issues with my toes, hence my steroids, but I've not had cuts. John Rahm's got a cut between 2 of his toes that's got infected. So he withdrew with discomfort in his toes, and he's going to play this week, but he may not have that, his typical swagger, and his major season is going terribly, isn't it? 45th in the Masters, miscut in the USPGA. Now he's carrying a little injury going into the US Open.
What's he got? Web feet? Cut? What do you mean cut between his toes?
He's got a cut between his toes, yeah, just and it's got infected. It's gone septic. Yeah, it's pretty gory stuff at 10 a.m. in the morning to discuss. But yeah, there'll be all sorts oozing out of it. But I guess he's on medication for that. And he's definitely going to play in the US Open. But he's not been playing well. And I'm not interested in any of the livers. Bryson DeChambeau was really disappointing last week. Made 15 birdies in 54 holes, but lots of mistakes too. 69, 70, 72, tied 18th. And he had much less suitable layout he's going to this week. So the live event you can. Draw a line under. Forget the livers this week.
Right, let's draw a line under last week then. And we are, of course, now, I think it's the 124th US Open. Steve, before we tackle the market principles in your view, what sort of course are we looking at? Are we looking at Carnage this week?
It's an iconic venue, Dave. Pinehurst, number 2, North Carolina, 7,548 yards past 70. Long par 70, only 2 par 5s, 12 par 4s, designed by the legendary Donald Ross. It's hosted 3 previous US Opens. Payne Stewart won with a 1 under par total in 1999, tragically died in a plane crash 4 months later. Michael Campbell won in 2005 with a level par total, came through a Walton Heath qualifier just to get there, then repelled Tiger Woods. Incredible scenes. And then in 2014, the last Pinehurst US Open, Martin Keimer turned it into a procession. 8-shot victory for the German, finished 9 under par. He was putting from off the greens because he was so intimidating by the chips that he faced there. Around the greens is the challenge at Pinehurst, Dave, a huge challenge. It's got more rolls than a bakery, these greens. And you've got approach play is very important too. Your approach play and scrambling, the 2 key stats, because you've got to get in the right sections of these greens.
Yeah, I've seen in more than one place this described as a second shot course. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, because for a US Open venue, it's relatively forgiving off the tee. Wide, generous targets off the tee, fast running fairways. You won't need to take driver that often. But the approaches are so intimidating. You need maximum distance control, and they're domed greens, so they repel approaches. Everyone's going to miss greens. We've got 156 players going to post, and we've got a fair wicket day, which is what always excites me more than anything. Sunny, hot and calm throughout, no draw bias, temperatures between 20C and 33C.
Right, there will be specials here, there and everywhere. Check out AK Bets for all of those. I'll ask you the first question though, Steve. What do you think the winning score will be?
I think the winning score will be 6 under par. Yeah, 6 under par. I don't know. It depends how one particular player performs. I think one particular player's got the chance to do a Martin Keimer on us. You take Martin Keimer out of the last 2014 Pinehurst US Open, and the next best player is 1 under par. So traditionally, only one player has managed to go bananas on this course. In the last 3 US Opens, it's been around par, apart from Martin Keimer. There's one player who could make the winning total a little bit more lavish, but maybe 6 under par is the mark for this particular fella.
Bold. Right, let's have a look at the show then, shall we? AK Bets priced it up, went up nice and early this week. At time of recording, which is 20 past 10 on the Tuesday morning, top price Scotty Scheffler at 7-2, and it is a price they are looking to hold and maintain being top price about Scotty Scheffler. So he heads your market. McIlroy at 12s, Xander Schauffele at 12s, Morikawa at 16s, Bryson DeChambeau 22s, The Hov, Victor Hovland 22s, Brooks is at 25s, and the remainder 25 bar as well. Right, Steve, how many in the team?
Sorry, it's four selections, but he will hold the prices. AK Bet's an old-fashioned bookmaker in that regard. It's so refreshing to see that the modern bookmaking modus operandi is to panic when there's a few tipsters throwing stuff around, but slashing prices. But AK Bet cements his prices at sort of 9:30 a.m. on Tuesdays and holds them till tee off. So all credit to that. Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air in these days.
And he's got previous for it as well, 5-1 the chef at the Masters.
Yes, absolutely. Held 5-1 the chef till tea time, and not scared of building up a significant liability and working from there. But we got 4 selections. Let's have another go. There's someone cutting the grass next door to me. Why don't you buy artificial grass? It's so much easier. And then you won't disturb my podcast. But 4 selections, Margaret.
Right, go on then, Steve. Who is the main selection this week?
I love Margaret, and I love Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler, 7-2 with AK Bets. I make no apology for putting up the favourite. I want to win some money, Dave. Do you want to win some money? I want to win some money. And I think Scotty Scheffler will win this golf tournament. I think the price is perfectly acceptable in these circumstances. AK Bets offering a top whack 7-2. I can't resist those odds. I know loads of punters who avoid odds-on shots. I've heard it many times before. Why would I back an 8 to 11 chance? I've got the 11. I don't need the 8. Blah, 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 blah. I get that to a degree, but we're not talking about an odds-on shot here. We're talking about a chance to, significantly improve your position. We don't talk figures on this podcast, Dave, as Sir Brendan Duke pointed out in the last watch-along. It's crass to talk figures. But if you have £20, if you have a £20 pot, and you put your £20 pot on Scotty Scheffler, and he wins this golf tournament, your pot will turn into £90. And I think that is jolly well worth it, in my humble opinion. I won't be bullied out of tipping Scotty Scheffler. I've got some each way alternatives for you later, Dave. I've got 3 more tips at much bigger prices, but I want a healthy win bet on Scheffler. I think he could dominate the event. His US Open form figures are 7-2-3. I think he's going to add a 1 to that on Sunday. He won the Heritage in South Carolina in April. I think he's going to win in North Carolina on Sunday. This course screams Scotty Scheffler. Accurate approach play and distance management on approach are the keys to success at Pinehurst. Scheffler, the best iron player in the game, and his distance control is unbelievably good, isn't it, Dave? Pin high so often, so precise with his yardages. And the other key stat is scrambling, as we mentioned. Everyone in the field's going to miss greens. Even Sheff will miss a few. He's one of the best in the business around the greens. He loves it in those low bump and runs. That'll be a hugely effective tactic at Pinehurst. He's top of the PGA Tour stats this season for par 4 performance, Dave. There are 12 par 4s at Pinehurst. 66% of the course is a par 4. Scheffler is miles clear on par 4 performance. He is 79 under par for the par 4s on the PGA Tour this season. 79 under par. Next best, Xander Schauffele on 40 under par. Wow. The PGA Tour average, this was staggy, Dave. The PGA Tour average for par 4 performance is 8 over par. Scheffler's work on the par 4s this season is incredible, and this course sets up lovely for him. Everything points to a Scheffler victory for me. He's just handled firm greens, tough track at Muirfield Village. Had an average putting week at Muirfield Village and won, and he's bulletproof mentally now, isn't he? Anyone who's still got doubts about Scheffler's temperament should watch the hour and a half of body cam footage from the police officer in Valhalla. Have you seen that? It's been released. I don't know how it's got out there, but it's out there now. It's an hour and a half of coverage. I've watched the full hour and a half. It's ridiculous and riveting in equal measure. Scheffler's so cool throughout that process. There's a moment where the traffic cop says to him, "Oh, you must be pretty good if you're playing in the PGA," and he just coolly replies, "Yeah, I'm all right." Just so low key. And then the same traffic cop says, "Is Tiger Woods as good as they say he is?" Scheffler just goes, "Yeah, he's good." It's just cool, calm, composed. And that was obviously a very exhausting ordeal for him. Would he have won the USPGA without that? He had 2 significant handicaps. He had the arrest. He had his caddy unavailable for round 3. Ted Scott, when he needed him most in round 3, was gone. So he still finished 8th. I wonder whether that overzealous traffic cop, Officer Brian Gillis, will go down in history as the man who stopped the Scotty Slam. Scheffler won the Masters. unsettled massively by Officer Brian Gillis at the USPGA. I think he's going to win the US Open this week and then he'd rule him out at the Open Championship next month. So, yeah, it's all about the Scheffler. We're going to get a fair wicket. 7-2 is a more than fair price. We're on him for the Players' Championship. We're on him for the Masters. Yeah, we're going to be on him for his next biggest win. Yeah, they're the three biggest tournaments so far, and he's going to win all of them.
Right, I think I know the answer to this question, but after his most recent success, I heard the line that Scotty Scheffler is playing the best golf since peak Tiger Woods, and I'm assuming that you agree with that, Steve.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah. I mean, his dominance in the world rankings is so eye-catching to me. That stat I mentioned, that's a Tiger-like stranglehold on world #1 status. I wonder whether Ludwig Aubert could challenge world #1 status of Scheffler over the next few months. But Aubert's carrying this knee injury, and I'm far from confident that that's going to happen now. Yeah, I think Scheffler is approaching a Tiger-like dominance of golf, and I think it's fanciful to suggest his winning is done for the year. He's got 5 wins in the bag. We're only at the start of June. He's going to go into the Tour Championship, of course, with that handicap start. How many tournaments is he going to win this year? He's so determined. He's so determined. He doesn't celebrate victories. He just packs his bag, go and sees Meredith, gives Baby Bennett a little wobble, and then he's back on the court. He will already be at the golf course this week preparing for the US Open. I think he's unusual, isn't he? His temperament is incredible. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And I think we're looking at one of the greatest seasons in history.
When Woods was at the peak of his powers, what sort of price was he going off for these tournaments?
Well, this is the shortest price player we've ever had for a major since the 2005 US Open. I think he was about 9-4 for that, Tiger. This is the first time we've had anyone close to this price, but I think 7-2 is more than fair. I mean, what would you lay him at? I mean, people turn their nose up at a short price in a big golf tournament like this. 156 runners, you got 70. Oh, you can't bet that. Go on then. What are you going to lay him at? I mean, I think I've got no interest in laying Scotty Scheffler for this golf tournament. I could have the deepest pockets in the world, and I wouldn't want to be laying. I wouldn't lay him at 6-4. I wouldn't want him. What's the point? I think AK Betts is incredibly brave in my book for laying 7-2. All credit to him. That's the game he's in. But it wouldn't interest him. Wouldn't interest me.
Would he interest you? Let us know in the comments below what you think about the price of the chef. Steve's with him, 7-2, top price with AK Betts at the time of recording. Right, you mentioned 4 names in the team this week, yes. Steve. Who's the next best pick?
The next best is Hideki Matsuyama, 50-1 with AK Betts, who is such a good fit for Pinehurst that I'm prepared to take a chance on his fitness. Matsuyama, as we mentioned before, does not come with fitness guarantees. His back and his neck can give him some jip from time to time. But the US Open will be only his 4th tournament in the last 2 months. He's had a light schedule. He's gone Masters, USPGA, Memorial. He's kept his body nice and fresh, lots of chance for rehab. There were no signs of distress in Ohio last week. Matsuyama was one of the few players in the Memorial field who managed an under par round on Sunday. Muirfield Village was playing so tough, wasn't it? He carded around a 70 to finish in a share of 8th place. Only 2 players in the Memorial field outscored Matsuyama on Sunday. And there's no doubt in my mind that the Matsuyama A game is good enough to win this US Open. Last week in the Memorial, his approach play was excellent. His work around the greens was excellent. He topped the scrambling stats. And this is typical of Matsuyama generally. He's a magnificent iron player, and he's probably the most underrated chipper in the world. He's a master around the greens. He doesn't get enough credit for it. These tight Pinehurst lies this week will be of no concern to Hideki. I wouldn't be surprised to see the former Masters champion add a 2nd major title to his CV. You go for his majors record, Dave. Superb. He's got the green jacket in the wardrobe. He's finished in the top 20 in the Masters 8 times. He's finished in the top 20 in the US Open 6 times. He was 10th on his US Open debut in 2013. He was 35th at Pinehurst in 2014. Not many in this field got positive course experience. Matsuyama, 35th, good effort. He was 2nd in the 2017 US Open. He was 4th in the 2022 US Open. He's had 2 top 5s in the USPGA. He's a world-class golfer, and some of his 2024 efforts have been jaw-droppingly good, isn't it? I mean, this is the year of the chef, but Matsuyama has produced some brilliant golf as well. 13th at Torrey Pines in January at a US Open venue. Won by 3 shots at Riviera. You must remember that one, Dave. Genesis Invitational. Final round 62. Remember that one?
Shot the lights out. I always think Janet Jackson once said, "What have you done for me lately?"
Yeah, that's a good question. And what has Hideki done for you lately? He's done a fair bit. He was 12th at Bay Hill. He was 6th at Sawgrass. He was 7th in the Texas Open. He looked brilliant last week. I think he's the main threat to Scotty Scheffler.
Okay, he's 45-1 at the time of recording with AK bets. Right, who else, Steve? I'm assuming we've got some nice big juicy prices.
We have got Sahith Theegala as our third tip at 55-1 with AK bets, who should also be licking his lips at the Pinehurst setup. We want players who are strong on approach and who possess a razor-sharp short game. Sahith Theegala fits the bill. Brilliant iron player, confident putter. I think he's matured into a potential major champion. 7 of the last 8 US Open winners. This is an incredible stat. Had never won a major before. It's a pretty remarkable statistic, that, isn't it? Theegala seems a lively candidate for bolstering that stat on Sunday. Magnificent amateur career, always destined for greatness. Made his PGA Tour breakthrough at the end of last year. Has shown he can handle major arenas. He was 9th on his Masters debut last year. Finished 27th in last year's US Open. 12th in the US PGA a month ago. 9th place in the Players' Championship at Sawgrass in March. Another indication of growing comfort in prestigious arenas. He's twice finished second this year in the PGA Tour signature events. The Century, the Heritage. 12th place at Muirfield Village last week on Sunday. A really encouraging warm-up spin. His driving was superb last week. His approach play typically excellent, good around the greens, and he didn't owe many putts. This is what's interesting. He was 12th last week with a cold putter in an elite field. That's heartwarming for Theegala fans because he's normally a dynamite putter. So if he marries last week's ball striking with a more typical putting performance this week, it's go time for Sahith Theegala.
Go time. Right. Who else then? Who's the final member of the team?
The final member of the team is a 225-1 chance with AK bets. It's Nick Dunlap, who has had some success at Pinehurst in the past. He won last year's North and South Amateur at Pinehurst. The North and South Amateur, a prestigious amateur event, is going on for donkey's years. And in 2021, he won the US Junior Amateur at the Country Club of North Carolina, which is just down the road from this week's venue. So loves this region, has played well at Pinehurst before. He was a superstar amateur, of course. He won the US Amateur last year. He's returned to Pinehurst this week as a PGA Tour champion. He became the first amateur to win on the PGA Tour since Phil Mickelson when he won the American Express in January. You probably remember that. Absolutely dazzled PGA Tour fans with a third round 60 and then hung on to win his maiden PGA Tour title on the Sunday. That was a big moment, and he's understandably taken time to settle as a tour pro because he went from college golf suddenly leaping into full-time professional tour golf. But the signs are really encouraging lately that he's settled down again. He was 11th in the Houston Open at the end of March, 30th in the Byron Nelson, 24th in the Wells Fargo. And last week, alongside Theegala on the leaderboard in 12th place in the Memorial. His approach play was superb at Muirfield Village. His putting was sublime. He's a great putter, is this lad. He's got the power to cut Pinehurst down to size. I think Dunlap is a really lively outsider.
Nice big price as well. Right, they're the 4 that you're with, Steve. I want to fire some names off you now at the top of the outright book with AK bets. So just give us your thoughts then. So we've spoken about the Chef, who's 7-2 favourite. Rory, 12-1.
Yeah, I think he's difficult to fancy. Yeah, I don't like the 12-1. Driving is not that important this week. Pinehurst is not a penal driving course. Quite wide targets off the tee. It gets more challenging the closer you get to the hole, and that's McIlroy's the sort of player where his skill set wanes the closer you get to the hole, isn't it? I don't think his driving is going to be enough for him to contend this week. Control on approach, Dave, is the most important thing. Discipline, course management, discipline, percentage golf to firm, bouncy greens, playing away from some flags. You don't associate that with McIlroy, do you? Course management and discipline.
Okay, right. Xander Schauffele also at 12-1 with AK bets.
Yeah, deserves second favouritism, I would say. But his post-USPGA celebrations, according to my sources, were extremely hearty. In that he actually went to visit loads of people that helped him turn from young boy to major champion. Anyone who helped him even a little bit in his career, he went to pay him a visit or made a phone call if it wasn't possible. He really downed tools after the USPGA. Rightly so, gloried in that first major victory. When he returned last week, his iron play was pretty ragged. Lady Luck followed him everywhere last week. It was a flattering result for Schauffele last week. Some incredibly fortunate moments for him. He topped the putting stats. His putter was sizzling last week, but I didn't like what I saw on approach. Of the market leaders, I think I'd much prefer Scheffler to Schauffele, but I respect Schauffele, but I didn't like what I saw last week.
Okay, Colin Morikawa at 16-1.
Colin Morikawa, I know you love Colin Morikawa.
7-4 top 10.
7-4 top 10. No, I knew you were getting excited about that, but I don't trust him as much as you do. No, I don't trust him as much as you do. I thought Sunday showed. He did better on Sunday than he has been, but he's had lots of weak finishes lately, and I didn't like his reaction to that chip on the last hole because it was going nowhere near going in, and he gave it that usual wow, didn't it? Did you see that when it missed? They all do that classic.
Yeah.
Wow, like how did that not go in? You didn't hit it close enough to the hole. It wasn't on the right line. I had no confidence that Morikawa was going to get that job done. I just don't trust him in contention. I know his iron play is a huge asset this week. As mentioned, Pinehurst is the main characteristic you're looking for is accurate iron play, and I can see why you're excited by Colin Morikawa. But
not to win, just to get him in the frame at 7-4.
Yeah, I think you'll get him in the frame. But I'm looking to win this golf tournament, and I just don't trust him at the moment. I think he's been finishing tournaments too weakly, even though he was a bit more impressive on Sunday.
Okay, right, Bryson DeChambeau, you mentioned. What about the Hov last week? He's 22s this week.
Oh my God, the Hov. I mean, 69-69 was such an encouraging start last week, wasn't it? And then he followed up with 77-75. Maybe I was expecting too much with him last week. I think he perhaps still got a lot of swing thoughts going through his head. It was an alarming weekend capitulation. He was 8 under par through 42 holes, I believe, and then he finished the tournament 8 under par through 43 holes. Finished the tournament 2 over par. I love the Hov, but I can live without him this week.
Okay, right. Let's try and bring up some that you've not mentioned. Tommy Fleetwood 40s.
Tommy Fleetwood, always popular, isn't he? Always popular. I saw Paul McGinley was tipping him up on Sunday night because he wanted to tip a European. I don't think we get as many patriotic punters on Sweet Spot as Sky Sports viewers. I mean, we don't care what their nationality is, do we? I just wouldn't trust Tommy Fleetwood down the stretch without being too harsh on him. He's got a good US Open record, but can you see it? Fleetwood v Scheffler down the stretch. You feel like whoever wins, if it's not Scheffler, you feel like you're going to have to beat Scheffler. Fleetwood against Scheffler on back down the stretch on Sunday. I just can't have it. Still hasn't got his normal caddy, has he? I believe. Is Ian Finnis is still recovering from heart surgery, so that doesn't help matters.
Right, one final name then at a bullseye, 50-1, Justin Thomas. Again,
accurate iron play is what we're after, isn't it? And Thomas has got that in spades. He's also fantastic around the green. So two huge positives. The two most important aspects. Thomas has got the goods, as they say. He's got the goods. But is he going to hold a putt when it matters? He's an awful putter. I would back myself to beat him in a putting competition at the moment. I just can't see Thomas holding the putts that matter to get the job done.
I'm not sure about that. Unless that MVG get up puts him off, I'm not sure about that one, Steve. Right, of course, check out the AK Bets website because there are a million specials on there already. Top 5, top 10, top 20, country of the winner, first round winner, and a whole host of specials as well. Have you had a chance to cast your eye across anything, Steve? Anything early doors that you like the look of?
Well, they're trickling out, aren't they? Yeah. We'll have another look at that. In Wednesday's Racing Post to be full of that. Thursday's Racing Post to be full of that. So you've got to give these bookmakers time to get going on those sort of things. But no, we're all about our 4 outright bets at the moment.
Okay, remind us of what they are then, Steve.
Scott Alexander Scheffler. As he said to the traffic cop, my real name is Scott, because he was saying, what's your name? And they're saying Scotty Scheffler, and they couldn't find him on the records and that. And he had to admit his real name was Scott. Scott Alexander Scheffler. Hideki Matsuyama. Sahith Reddy Thigala. Great middle name, Reddy. Sahith is ready to win a major. Sahith Reddy Thigala. And Nicholas Dunlap.
So the jolly, and some big prices there as well. So jump onto AK Bets for all of that. Remember, top price, Scotty Scheffler, time of recording, and they're looking to hold it as well. So if you want to follow Steve in, AK Bets is the place to get behind the chef. Right.
Test him out. Bankrupt him before all that stuff.
See if we can break him. Do remember to gamble responsibly, of course. Right, reminder of the sign-up offers. Sweet Spot 50 is what you need this week. First bet on a winner of a golf tournament market. If you play and miss the cut, you'll get 50% of that back. Terms and conditions apply as a free bet, of course. And do remember that the man himself, AK Bets, will be joining us on the watch along and the podcast next week to introduce a new offer as well to new customers. It will be the US Open. We're all looking forward to it. Steve, once again, thank you for your time, expertise. Just give me a line or two on your level of excitement and how pumped you are coming into this weekend.
Yeah. I'm seriously pumped. I'm a little bit concerned about the wife going away. The wife is leaving me with 2 kids, a dog, and a US Open. So I've got a lot of juggling to do at the weekend. She's going to a hen weekend. And it's Father's Day, of course. So hopefully, new father Scotty Scheffler will have the ultimate Father's Day gift of a US Open trophy. I'm a little bit intimidated by the weekend, but excited in equal measure. And I look forward to tuning in to see you on the watch along on Sunday.
Yes, of course. Reminder, 7:30. Don't be late. Live on the Racing Post YouTube channel. This has been the Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post and AK Bets. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments below who you are backing this week for the US Open. We'll see you next time.